Is homeschooling high school stressing you out? Hey, today we're going to bust some myths that make teaching high school at home seem almost impossible. These tips, right, have come up again and again in my homeschool consulting through the years. And I got to tell you, they are no more true now than they were 20 years ago. I know your concerns. I know your fears. Hey, I have 3 homeschool graduates. That's right. My 3 kids all attended high school at home. They are now out there in the adult world being successful and productive and useful. And in fact, if you think we're being a little too serious, I'm going to give you a little glimpse into our homeschool high school classroom. Seriously though, homeschooling high school is not impossible. It's not more than you can do. It is right at your fingertips. It can be a great experience. But first, we have got to cut through some of those lies. That's right, some of those myths that need to be busted. Welcome to Homeschool University, where life meets learning. I'm Diana Applegate, and I'm going to lead you through some myths right now that have to be busted about college. Myth number 1, you can't go to college if you don't prep for it in high school. What? No, totally not true. The biggest prep you need for high school would be a well-rounded education in high school. The biggest preparation in college, would be a well-rounded education in high school. Don't believe me? I've got a little article here that I got off the internet from Smithsonian Magazine, who, trust me, is no friend to homeschoolers. This is from September 2014 issue. The title is Unschooled Kids Do Just Fine in College. For those of you who aren't familiar with unschooling, that is strictly delight-directed learning on the part of the child. If the child wants to learn math by building a shed in the backyard instead of opening a math book, hey, perfectly fine. There are no textbooks in many of these families ever used. The child strictly pursues what they're interested in. By the way, the subtitle of this article, Children Used to Self-Directed Learning and Intellectual Freedom Can Handle the Strictures of College. Let me just give you a little quote here. This is from a survey conducted by psychologists Peter Gray and Gina Riley, talking to 232 families who unschooled their kids. Almost half of those had either completed a bachelor's degree or higher, or were currently enrolled in a program. So these are kids that a lot of them went on to college. Says that getting into college was typically a fairly smooth process for this group. They adjusted to the academics fairly easily, quickly picking up skills such as class note-taking or essay composition. And most felt at a distinct advantage due to their high self-motivation and capacity for self-direction. And by the way, if you think that none of those kids can get into a field that has a technical or scientific application to it, many of the unschooled kids did follow their passions into technical fields and went into fields that required a substantial background in science, technology, or math. Enough said. Myth busted. You do not need to prep for college in high school. Myth number 2. Colleges expect you to cater to their requirements. Okay, I've probably talked to, 30, 40 colleges over the years, both on behalf of families that I have been consulting for and also for my own family. I have yet to find a college that has like a specific curriculum they want you to use. Yeah, a few, especially the more exclusive ones with lower acceptance rates, they do have maybe a requirement or two that they require, like maybe you have to take a class with an outside instructor just to verify your, information that's on your transcript. Or maybe they have some coursework that they're suggesting that you do simply so that you are meeting up with requirements they think that everyone should have. But it's not, I can't use the word requirement there, it's a suggestion. Most colleges, this is truth, love the diversity of educational experience that homeschoolers have. They love the fact that when homeschoolers get on their campus, they are serious about what they are doing. They are self-motivated. They are great kids to have in your college. Myth busted. Colleges do not require you to cater to them to get your kids in. Myth number 3, college dual enrollment is a great experience and a huge benefit. I don't think so. Let me give you the experience of one of my kids. One of my children applied to one of those super exclusive universities that had actually less than a 10% acceptance rate. And one of the things they required was an English class and a math class taken with an outside instructor, strictly, for their homeschool students. So my son trotted off to the local community college his junior year and took an English class and a math class. And I believe the words he would describe that experience would be somewhere between silly and ridiculous. There were many kids in his classes that were like, they're older than him and they don't care that they're there and they're not really trying. They had in their English class, they had more of a social justice warrior kind of thing going on than they did having a learning to write thing going on. And in the math class, they actually required less of the students than I required in my homeschool class. So dual enrollment, myth busted, not a great thing. I'm sure there are kids out there that might enjoy it, but for the most part, hey, let your high schooler be a high schooler and stay at home and do high school work. Myth number 4, college is necessary. Hooey, that's one that we can just pitch right out the window. Again, my family's experience. My husband's a millwright. He's really good at what he does. He is very successful at it. He enjoys it. He went through an apprenticeship program that included coursework that was actually taken pertaining to his trade. Worked out just fine. My 3 kids, I have one that went to a 4-year university. He actually went to a well-placed engineering school, and most of what he did there was silly and pointless, in his words, but he had to get it because he needed the degree for what he wanted to do in life. Number 2, decided to go into the world of work. He went from being a coffee barista to he now writes loans in a bank. He's done just fine, and tell you what, if he needs to take any classes, he knows where the community college is and how to do that. My last child went straight into the military. He loves it. It's a great fit for him. Didn't require any college. Just saying. Keep your options open. College is just one of many. So now that we got through those myths, let's go on to some myths that are more general in their drift. Myth number 5. Most states have graduation requirements for homeschoolers. No, that one is not true. Most states have exactly the opposite. Most states have absolutely no requirements whatsoever to produce a homeschool diploma. Some of them have suggestions on a suggested course of study, but a lot of homeschoolers get mixed up here because they know that public school has requirements, so they assume those apply to them. The truth is, I am currently, as of this video, only aware of 5 states that do that. And this video is March of 2020. New York, Pennsylvania, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. To the best of my knowledge, those are the states that have the most onerous homeschool regulations to begin with, and they actually have requirements for homeschool graduation. Everybody else, nada. By the way, if you need to know specifically about what your state requires, if there's any confusion on that, all you need to do is become a member of HSLDA. That is Homeschool Legal Defense Association. They are the folks that know all things legal about homeschooling. And if you are a member, they will keep you up to date on everything going on in your state. Plus, they have complete listings of all of the homeschool regulations for every state in the nation. HSLDA is very inexpensive to belong to. I highly recommend it. But in any case, myth busted, no, most states could care less how you graduate your homeschooler, just saying. Myth number 6, you have to outsource the tough classes. Oh my gosh, how many times have I heard that one? This is looking at it the wrong way. Yes, it's a tough class, and we're talking like the calculus, the chemistry, the physics, whatever it is that you don't feel super confident in. It's all about the resources. Hello. It's all about finding the right resources to teach your kid and then walking with that subject along with them, walking through it with them. I'm going to give you an example. My kids learned Latin. They didn't learn Latin because I was an expert in teaching Latin. No, we learned it together. We walked right through it together, and now we all know a little Latin. Also, in high school, and specifically, I finally learned some physics. Okay, so you'll find this funny, but I'm actually a science major. My degree is in biochemistry. Great. That means I had to take some physics. I was so bad at physics. I had a graduate student as instructor in my physics lab. That person dropped out of the graduate program because they realized they couldn't get physics into my head, and they assumed that they just didn't know it well enough. Sorry, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry. In any case, I did learn physics finally, because why? I walked through physics with one of my kids learning it, okay? I'm just saying, this is not one of those things where you need outside instructors, where you need online courses. You don't. You just need to do it together. So myth busted. Myth number 7, you can destroy your child's adult life if you muff it up in high school. What? Do you know how many times I've heard that one? Seriously, that's the #1 reason I get from people about why they don't want to homeschool high school. Think about what you are saying to your child when you homeschool them in the high school years. Let's see. I think you're valuable. I think it's important that I walk with you through these formative years. I think that you are amazing, and I'm going to be able to celebrate all your achievements with you. Yeah, those things are totally going to mess your kid up. Just saying, throw that one right out the door. Myth busted. Yeah, you're going to make your child's adult life just that much more successful by what you pour into them in the high school years. And myth number 8. Outside classes are a great way for your teen to be socialized and to make friends. Okay, if you attended public school, high school, you did have friends in high school. And why did you have those friends? Because you all went to the same school together, and those are the only kids that you knew, right? They weren't necessarily kids that you ended up being friends for life with, or even that you really enjoyed the friendships you had with them then. Think about the friends that you have today. Are you friends with people simply because they live next door, or maybe they're the wife of someone who works with your husband, or, no, you are friends with people who have similar interests and similar values. So why not give your teen a chance to meet people in the same way? Why not let your teen take some recreational or hobby related classes so they meet people who like doing the same thing? And here's a little interesting factoid. Your teen's friends don't have to be teenagers. My kids had friends all across the age spectrum, older, younger. It never mattered. They enjoyed those people because they had something in common with them. So, myth busted. Outside classes, by the way, just want to say this. What are you doing socializing when you're supposed to be doing some coursework? Hello. So that about wraps it up for today. That is 10 homeschool high school myths busted, and I hope that you now have new confidence in teaching your homeschooled teen at home, because frankly, it's not more complicated. It's just a little bit different, but you're still going to use all the same skills and resources you've used up until grade 9. Trust me. You are building bonds with your teen that will last a lifetime here. So join me right here again next Wednesday for Homeschooling High School Part 2, which would be strategies that really work. And hey, if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscription button down below. Turn on the notification bell because you don't want to miss a single new video. Please leave me a comment if you have a tip to share or a question. And most of all, please share this video, because the homeschool journey is way more fun with friends. So remember, here at Homeschool University, we have 3 strategies. The first one, number 1, be practical. Hey, common sense is golden and it's free. Number 2, be purposeful. Pray for and with your kids and for your homeschool. And number 3, be positive, because you can do this. That's right, because you are amazing.